Next, quick trick 10. A person has to travel from a location P to a location Q. During his journey, he covered the first A miles distance with a speed x miles per hour. Then he covered next B miles distance with a speed y miles per hour. And then he covered the last C miles distance with z miles per hour. What is his average speed from location P to Q? In order to obtain that average speed, first we need to obtain the total distance he covered from P to Q. It is simple. The total distance covered is A plus B plus C miles. The total distance covered divided by the total time required to travel from P to Q gives the average speed. So here we need to obtain the total time required to cover the distance. As he covered the first A miles with x miles per hour, the time required to cover that A miles distance is simply given by A over x. Similarly, the time required to cover B miles is B over y. And similarly, the time required to cover the last C miles distance would be C over Z. So the summation of these individual times gives the total time that is required to cover the entire distance. So the total distance over the total time gives the average speed, which is equal to A plus B plus C divided by A over X plus B over Y plus C over Z. Next, we'll solve a simple question related to this model. The given question is, during the first 6 miles of his journey, a person rode his bicycle at a speed of 3 miles per hour, and he rode next 25 miles at 5 miles per hour and the last 30 miles at a speed of 10 miles per hour. What is the average speed of his entire journey? This is a question which is directly related to quick trick 10, and as a first step, obtain the total distance he covered. He covered a distance of 6 miles plus 25 miles plus 30 miles, which is equal to 61 miles. And it is given that he covered the 6 miles distance with a speed of 3 miles per hour. So obtain the time t1 which is required to cover the distance, that is 6 over 3, that is 2 hours. Let us obtain the time required to cover the 25 miles distance. As he covered this distance with a speed of 5 miles per hour, he needs 5 hours to cover the distance. Next, he covered 30 miles distance with a speed 10 miles per hour, so he needs 3 hours to cover the distance. So the total time required to cover the 61 miles distance is 2 plus 5 plus 3, which is 10 hours. So let us consider the average speed as the total distance covered over total time. So that is 61 over 10, which is equal to 6.1 miles per hour.